and welcome to Concert Pipeline. I'm Steve Jones. Today on the program we have a band called Split Persona. I had a chance to chat with Zander and Brogan from Split Persona. We covered it all. We talked about the joining together as a band. We talked about getting time on the road, their favorite shows that they've been to, so much more. We'll get into that in just a moment. But before we do, catch up on a couple of other things going on in my world. As I mentioned in the last episode, moved into my new house here, so getting things set up. I found the air conditioning today. So that's only half joking, but I did use it for the first time, even though I've had the house for a while. I've lived through the heat up to this point. I don't know if it's pride or if it's just stupidity or trying to save money. I don't know where it lands, but I have had multiple sweaty nights. First off, sleeping on an air mattress before my bed got here. And second off, when I had my bed last night, even didn't even turn on the AC. I champed it out, right? But today I turned it on, and it was glorious. It was like 93 degrees outside and 85 inside, something like that. So I was like sweating through a meeting I had to have for my daughter, and just waiting for it to end. And then I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. I have to turn it on. So I made it happen. I know this is small things for some people, but coming from living in a house for 8 years that did not have air conditioning, that did not have a doorbell, that did not have a dishwasher, some of these modern fancy things are kind of a little bit lost on me. My buddy John, who I was actually doing a Peloton ride with today, said, yeah, maybe you'll get a smart thermostat next. And I know you're trying to look out for me, but one step at a time here. Turning the thermostat on is a big move for me. So that's my story on the thermostat. What else has happened in Bottle Rock? We have multiple bands that we're interviewing at Bottle Rock. We've already had a couple of bands from Bottle Rock in the past couple of weeks to talk about it, lead up to the show. We have Metallica, we have 21 Pilots, we have Black Crowes, we have Pink. They're not all on the program, but they are all playing Bottle Rock. And after Bottle Rock's over, we're going to bring interviews from the program. I don't know how much we'll get on YouTube because it's going to be audio interviews most likely, but we're going to bring that to the Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. We will also bring video performances from the festival as well, whatever I'm able to grab, and we'll put that all in one big episode most likely, depending upon what content I get at the fest. It's going to be fun. That's this weekend, May 27th to 29th at the Napa Valley Expo, and for the last year I will be biking from my house that's there because I have it to the end of the month. The air mattress is at the Napa house, and I'm going to be sleeping on that for a bunch of nights to make Bottle Rock happen and just be able to bike there and bike back afterwards. So that's the jam with Bottle Rock. Really looking forward to it. I don't need the open to be too long. We had a great chat with Zander and Brogan, and we're going to bring them in now. So here is my interview with Split Persona. We got a winner.
Beautiful.
Zander Brogan, how you doing?
Not bad. How about you?
Doing pretty great. I like the light behind you. That's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I won that in an arcade.
You did? How many tickets did that cost? Were you there like all day or?
Remember? It was like 1,500 tickets.
Well worth it, right? So.
Oh yeah, looks awesome.
Should bring it out to the shows.
Oh, dude. Now I'm gonna put it on my cabinet.
No, we're gonna put this one on my cabinet.
Yeah, because I
have your Saturn.
Yeah, I have a little Saturn light that goes on my cabinet, and I guess you'll have the XOXO sign. That would be cool.
That'd be good. So let's talk. Let's tell me about Split Persona. You guys got together around 2020 or something?
October 2019.
Yeah, that was probably the official time we got together. 2020
that was the first time I showed up at your house.
That's true. Yeah.
You just showed up, or you know?
So our previous bass player and I, we went to the same high school, and we were in choir together. And one day we had nothing to do, and there was a guitar in the room, so I just started playing to kill some time. And then a couple weeks later, he approaches me. He's like, "Hey, I've got this band coming together. Do you want to maybe come try out, play some lead guitar?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I mean, I got nothing else to do, you know. So he gave me a date. It was like a week out. It was during fall break.
Yep, I remember that.
And I went over to the last house you lived in.
Last house I lived in, yeah.
And just set up my stuff, and I think, what was it? I played Panama by Van Halen.
Yeah.
It was Panama. That was my little warm up, and from my warm up, I was in.
Yeah, from me being inspired by Eddie Van Halen to pick up guitar. Once he played Panama, I was like, well, he's in now. He just effortlessly pulled out Panama. Of course he's in. We jammed on it for a little bit, but I mean, the music of Split Persona was written before we had even met.
Yeah,
the first EP.
You were still living in Truckee.
Yeah, I was living in Truckee for a bit, and that's actually when we met. I was just telling him how we met at Bottle Rock, which I think is insane. We met at Bottle Rock 2017, I believe, with the one where the Foo Fighters played.
Yes. So let's talk about that for a second. So because the Foo Fighters have played Bottle Rock twice now, and that first one was like the one that you had been to, and we were just camped out at the stage all day. And so since you mentioned your concert, right, I want to go back to that. I was going back to my photos, and I found that.
Oh my God!
And Band of Horses played before Foo Fighters, and I don't know who you were waving at or anything, but but a young
baby
young Zander.
That's me. And there I am, right there.
Yes.
And you know what's crazy? You know what's even crazier about that? The kid to my left in this picture and right above my head, those two kids, that's Emma and Ethan, the two kids I was in a cover band with before Split Persona.
Oh shit.
So I was in a cover band with them, and they just happened to be at the festival, and they were like, yeah, we have to see Foo Fighters. So we all kind of camped out at the front row. Wow, that is so man, it's been so long, dude. Oh my God.
It's been a minute.
Another full circle moment.
I know, and that's when I found Concert Pipeline again. I was like, oh, we have to get on it now. Now that I have a band, and now that we're doing stuff, wow, we have to get on it. That's crazy. Small world, man.
Yeah, small. I know, right? Yeah. So yes, I remember you, and and that show was awesome because Foo Fighters hadn't been touring, and that at the time was the only U.S. date that they had done. So I mean, it was incredible. But
first show of the never-ending tour of the Foo Fighters, literally.
Right. They played last year, and actually, Dave Grohl did so many cool things. Like he came out the night before when Guns N' Roses were playing, and played on played Paradise City. Sorry,
right.
And he did a solo set with Greg Kurstin doing the.
I can't believe you got to see that. So jealous.
Yeah. I recorded videos of all of it, right? And he did the culinary stage and everything. So their set was cool, but everything else he did was amazing at Bottle Rock last year. So
that's just Dave Grohl, man. That's why he's my inspiration. He's slowly becoming your inspiration too. I mean, I'm slowly getting Brogan into every single Foo Fighters B-side that's existing right now. And he'll come up to me and be like, Weenie Beanie, let's play that one. And I'll be like, yes! And I'm like, finally. So, I memean, that's really why it's just good guy Grohl, man. He's just barbecuing, hanging out with all the fans, hanging out with everybody. That's the goal for me as a lead, front man or whatever, just to be as cool as possible, easy to work with, all that kind of stuff. And that's
easy to get along with.
Yeah, that's Dave Grohl, and just a funny hangout dude. I could totally have a beer with Dave Grohl. Anybody can, which I think is crazy.
Yeah. So you had a cover band? What did you cover?
Oh, well, obviously Foo Fighters. We played like Everlong and The Pretender. We've covered a lot of Black Keys. We did like Gold on the Ceiling and Lonely Boy at one point. We even I think we did do Paradise City at one point. We threw that into the set because it was really fun. But it was a lot of like just whatever all of us were kind of into. So it was like Cage the Elephant or, Steppenwolf. Just why not? We'll do Magic Carpet Ride tonight. And there wasn't that many shows with that cover band, which I was kind of PO'd about, mainly because it was just so fun playing just the songs that you always look up to. And, you start in a cover band, but I think we were talking about this exact thing today, which is we're in an original band. You know, we do all originals and whatever, but we throw a cover in every one of our sets if we can. You know, if we have time.
If we have the clock space, we're playing a well-known song.
Exactly, because it's just fun for us to play those songs. They're good songs. You know, throwing in Monkey Wrench every now and then,
or My Hero,
or we've done Remedy by Seether before, just in the studio.
We used to do Motley Crue covers, and I would sing them.
He's got the highest voice in the band, so it fits. He can hit all the Vince Neil parts. So, I mean, I do. You know, there's parts of me that miss playing in a cover band, mainly because there was nothing you could do originally that people would go, "Damn, that's not very good," because you'd be playing covers that are like already amazing, masterpieces. You know what I mean? But I mean, there's a lot of give that comes with writing a song and thinking, wow, this sounds like garbage, and then playing it and then
getting a positive reaction.
And people really like it. You know, there's certain unreleased songs we put into our set that people have come up to us after shows and been like, well, what song is that? When is that coming out? We're like, we didn't know you liked it. Like, wow, that's crazy. So, I mean, it's at one point that you have to realize we're just dudes in a room playing music, you know, and that's what every legendary band in the world has been.
It's just a bunch of guys writing songs.
Yeah. And it's at that point, it's something eventually happens from it. And you just have to be like, yeah, but you stay true to yourself, being the guy who's in my room at 3 a.m. writing music. You know, it's the same thing.
Yeah. And I mean, your live show, though, you put on, I mean, from the videos I saw, like you have a lot of energy in your live show, which is really awesome. So, yeah. I mean, you like to stay. Oh, go ahead.
We're trying to like bring back that electricity that made rock and roll popular in the first place. You know,
I mean, there's something different, and this is another Dave Grohl quote. There's something different about going to see a concert and watching a dude with a piece of wood and a bunch of metal strings and just making something magical out of it. Like when me and Brogan actually got the opportunity to see Mammoth WVH and Dirty Honey recently on their last tour when they came through Reno.
On the Young Guns tour.
Young Guns tour. And watching John Otto, right? John Notto, yeah, from Dirty Honey, just be literally 5 feet away from us, just shredding these eclectic solos. We're just like mesmerized. Like I remember looking at you at one point, you're just like, and I'm like, yeah, dude, that's exactly what it is.
I went into that concert having never listened to a Dirty Honey song in my life. I came out a full-fledged fan of Dirty Honey.
He's never not playing that.
And that's what we want to bring. That's the impact that we want to have, you know?
But when we do a live show and you've never even heard of a band and then you leave that venue thinking, how do I listen to them right now? Like that's the kind of energy that we want to bring, because we're not just going to show up and play. You know, that's what you expect us to do. We have to do other stuff to like we make it more all around a good show. You know, it's not just a show; it's a performance.
And we try to bring something like new and creative to the table each time, whether that be jam sessions, we're like extending a jam session in a song, or
completely writing the set list 10 minutes before we go out and play.
We've done that before.
We did that in the last show. Or just not having one, you know, just going out and playing, you know,
which we did in Chico,
which we did in our last show in Chico. So, I mean, there's a lot that comes with our live shows, but we just try to bring as much memorable impact as best as we can.
We just want to bring the good time. We want to let the good times roll, you know, we want to bring that back.
Put that on a bumper sticker.
Put it on a sticker. Yes. And Zander, you love to stage dive at every show if you can. Yeah.
Every show that I can, you know, the last show that we did, that big one,
they were not liking it.
They didn't like it very much. And the best part is like, I still crowd surf. It doesn't matter how far.
You still succeeded.
I still was held up for at least 10 seconds before I was dropped, you know. But other times, you know, our last Reno show, the Punk Rock Flea one, I crowd surfed all the way to the door of the venue and all the way back to the stage. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. At the Cargo show, I probably should have just stayed on stage.
Yeah, so crazy, for all the shows I've been to, I've never actually crowd surfed. So how much control do you have over getting to the back of the venue and
I'm also curious about that. It's mostly just yelling, just like, no, go this way, or back that way, or this way. It's mostly just yelling and hoping to God that everybody below you hears. And most of the time, it's my hand signals of like pointing of wherever I need to go. That usually everybody underneath me is like, okay, that way, and they'll just slide me that way. But the one at Punk Rock Flea was probably the most organized crowd surf I've ever done, because everybody was like straight back to the stage. Before, like the last Holland show that we did is a local venue here in Reno called Holland Project. The last Holland show that we did, I crowd surfed and went in a fucking circle. Like I did a half moon around the stage and then I ended up on like Jacob's side. And I was like, where am I right now? But yeah, most of the time it's very unorganized, and I just hope for the best and just do with my hands, and hope people see it.
Yeah.
And I think my only job when he does that is to make sure his guitar is safe and fill the silence.
Yeah, he always fills the silence with these like really hard rock like solos, and it's always like the little teasy stuff. It's like ding it, and then it just keeps building until I get back to the stage. It's awesome. And that was something we've never even rehearsed. Like we don't rehearse that. We're just like Zander crowd surfs here, and we just
we just fill the space with whatever.
Exactly. Like you and Jacob go back and forth. He does some bass stuff, you do some guitar stuff, and like call and response and whatnot. And that it just brings, like, you never see people on stage crowd surf anymore. I've not been to a show in a long time where I see the dude that's playing crowd surf, and I'm like,
not a lot. Yeah.
And there's tons of shows that I've been to where it's like, you're small enough, get up there, and they'll like just launch me into the crowd and try to make me crowd surf. But it's always different when it's the person you're seeing, because you're like, holy shit, I'm literally touching the guy that was shredding 2 minutes ago. You know what I mean? So I feel like that is more another crowd participation opportunity that I always see at our shows every time.
Yeah. And so tell me, I mean, with it starting like a couple months before COVID hit, like what was that like for you guys? How did that affect the band and the shows?
It was devastating.
Yeah, like it was a hard hit.
When COVID, like right before COVID hit, I mean, in January we played the Whiskey A Go Go, which was like
that
nice.
was legendary.
And even though the show was like empty, it was still the Whiskey A Go Go, and we cannot get away from that. We still played Whiskey A Go Go.
We still saw the name Split Persona on that marquee.
Yeah, and that was insane. So we do Whiskey A Go Go. We come home and we do our first like headlining show in Reno, and we sell out. And it's like, holy shit, it's our EP release show. People are coming and buying CDs, buying shirts. We sell the place out. And then less than a month later, we find out that
we're all shut down.
Yeah, that everything is shut down. There's this new pandemic going around. And it was devastating for us. It's most likely not even close to as devastating as it was for bigger bands or for just people in general. But there was definitely I would say an emptiness that came with COVID, because as soon as we were all
let me pause for a second and ask you. So that first show you sold out, like how did you do that? We're all word of mouth. Like how do you sell out a show when you're so fresh?
Pretty much. We were kind of making noise in Reno. Like he said earlier that we got started in 2019. We did their high school Battle of the Bands, then we win that Battle of the Bands. And then we did a Holland show, and it wasn't that packed, but we got a couple people out. I say we got like 30 people out to that show. And, those people told their friends, and we just didn't stop promoting. We just kept on social media, texting people, trying to get people to our shows.
Like it's gotten to the point before where people will literally like respond to stuff I post about shows and be like, just shut up. No one cares.
Yeah, there is that too. And that comes with, hey, we're just trying to make it and get our stuff out there. You could totally opt out of our text messaging program or whatever it is. Right. My story or whatever. So, I mean, it was mostly word of mouth, just putting up posters around town, telling everybody at high school, saying like, this is the biggest show we've ever done. This is our EP release show. You better make it big for us and whatever. And just, it's sold out, which I didn't expect. And it was before they even did like online ticket sales, because that came with COVID, this closed off 100 people shows, the mask up shows and whatever. Before that, it was just show up at the door with $5 and you'll get in. And oh man, people showed up that night. And it was
like 300 something.
No way. It was like 150. Collins cap is like 200, so it was like 150. I think.
Okay, so I was like, a
little bit off. So yeah, that was pretty much how we got it out. And once we did that show, it was like nothing could stop us. And then pandemic.
And then something stopped us.
Yep. The one thing I didn't expect too.
And so did you like find ways to record? Like, did you send files back and forth at that point? What did that look like?
So I basically went into pre-EP mode when the pandemic hit. I started demoing a lot of songs myself in my room and just writing a lot of stuff. And you were writing a lot of stuff and sending it to me. And like you said, like little files, like we still do that to this day.
We'll take like voice memos,
right? And
we'll just like, yo, I wrote something. Tell me what you think.
It'd be like a riff or something small or whatever, and he'll send it back and forth. And Brogan was kind of the only one that couldn't come out of his house. His parents were very strict.
They were.
This is the pandemic. You're not leaving our house and giving us all COVID. Like, it was a big thing. And, my parents were trepidatious, but they weren't nearly as strict, I don't think, because they were like, you can go out if you want, and so it was mainly just me demoing songs in my room. Oops. Sorry about that. It was mainly just me demoing songs in my room, just making them sound as bare bones as possible, just leaving room for all of us to kind of input on it and create something nice. And as the pandemic was kind of leaning off closer to the end of summer 2020, when everybody was realizing, yeah, we're going to be in this for another year, we started all kind of coming together slowly but surely, member by member, and just playing these songs out and trying to get them figured out and trying to get them to sound as good as possible. And that whole record came together. We had a whole record planned. And in 2021, when the pandemic was, just kind of coming off the cuff in like April or May, we decided to go into a studio and record all of it. And 2 of those songs made it out, which was On Your Own and No You Won't. And those to this day, we consider demos, because we know nowadays we can make those songs sound so much better. And that's why the rest of the record is still on the shelf. It's all written, it's all produced, it's all ready. We just need to go to a studio and record it. But it's me that always waits on it. Like, I want it to sound like it is up here, like it is up there, like it should sound, instead of settling and just being like, yeah, we can just track a demo and just mix and master it and throw it out ourselves.
Which
at this
I
point.
think is the reason why I liked only doing one song with Chet. That it gave us that entire like 2 or 3 days to just focus on that one.
And you're talking about I Need More, which is the most recent release from us.
So who's Chet?
Chet Roberts is the lead guitar player of 3 Doors Down.
Okay. And so how did you get hooked up with him?
So the story goes is that around the same time that I went out to see the Foo Fighters at Bottle Rock, it was less than a year before, I think, 3 Doors Down came out to Reno, and my dad just was like, hey, do you want to go to 3 Doors Down concert? I was like, absolutely, like, this would be great. And he got us like the back seats. And I was like, and I never care about concert seating unless it was the Foo Fighters. I never considered about, so I was just back there and I saw open seats at the front. So every other song or whatever, me and my dad and his friend would kind of sneak up there and sit down. It was right on Chet's side. And I think at one point I pulled the sign thing that I did at Foo Fighters, which was like, 13 years old, can I come and play a song with you? And he actually came down next to me and said, hey, I can't bring you up tonight, but here's a wristband, whatever, don't quit. Keep doing music. And I was like, I'd never seen a musician ever tell me that before. So it was like very life-changing for me. And I was like, okay. So I never quit, kept doing it. And 3 Doors Down came back to Reno in 2021 at the end of the year. My dad just had a random Instagram message him and was like, hey, I hope you remember this picture, from this show and this date. And I know like rock stars and shit, like they're not gonna remember that. He did. And he was like, I love Split Persona. I'd love to meet Zander before the show and talk about, recording out in my studio and bringing the band out there and whatever. And I was just floored. Like, I did not, I
remember you texted me about it and I was like, bullshit.
Yeah, there's no way that's real. So I actually meet him before the show. We talk about Nashville and we talk about going out there and recording a song with them and whatever. And he's like, do you have tickets to the show? And I was like, no, I didn't buy tickets to the show. I just came to meet you. And he was like, I'll get you tickets. Hold on. And I was like, he texted me later that night. I hope the tickets were good and they were front row. You know what I mean? Like, it was a hookup. So we also gave him a shirt. Me and my dad just brought him a shirt of ours and he wore it on stage that night.
Nice.
So it was like ridiculous, dude. And after that, I get a text I just gave him my number. I was like, if you're really serious, we're a kid. We're still kids at this point. I didn't even turn 18 yet, I don't think. Yeah.
No, I think you were just 18.
Just 18. So yeah, I slide him my number and I'm like, if you're really serious, whatever, text me. He texted me that night. Hey, Chet, this is Zander. That was backwards. Hey, Zander, this is Chet. How you doing? I sent me some demos. So we started sending stuff back and forth. And in the beginning of 2021, Brogan approached me with a riff. And I very much liked the riff. And we started working on it. It started to become this like very party-like rock song. And then I threw the breakdown riff in there and did the breakdown. And you were just like, no, this song's going to be.
It just so happened to fit.
Very well.
You didn't write that breakdown for that particular song.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was an
sat
accident.
down and wrote it down. Yeah. So once I put that breakdown together and we had like a structure, I was like, okay, this is another really good song that we have that's just going to sit on the shelf. And it did until November or whatever when I sent it to Chet, and he was like, no, this one, I like this one.
This is the one.
And that's when I hadn't even written lyrics yet. I'd only written lyrics for the chorus, which you ended up pitching on later.
I think you banged out the rest of the lyrics in like a couple of weeks.
Not even a day. Like I just sat down and wrote them down because you called me and you just said this song is a party song, write it about partying. And I was like,
oh yeah, because I remember you sent me a sample of the lyrics and it was like super depressing,
super dark, just like other stuff. Like
I was like, no, dude, don't ruin this with sad shit.
Yeah, it's the stuff that makes you think. So I wrote the lyrics that became the final lyrics, and a lot of them got cut and moved around and whatever, but
and like reworded just a little bit to make it fit better.
I remember the first time you heard the cadence of the lyrics, you went, I really like these. Like there's definitely something here. So we go out to Nashville, and for the first, 4 days, we're just out there being children. You know what I mean? Like we've never been out of Reno.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it was a great
time. We went to this place called Carter Vintage Guitars.
Okay.
Oh man,
just all the good, musicians.
Just having
get to record with Chet from Three Doors Down, and he actually even said, like a week or two before we came out, hey, Greg Upchurch, our drummer, wants to play on the song. We were like,
he can do it.
Of course, I texted Mike and I was like, hey, so Greg wants to play on the song. He goes, Greg can have the song.
I'll set this one out. Yeah.
Exactly. So we go out, best 2 days of our lives, recording. And it was like, it wasn't just at home recording. It was like, we're doing it. You know what I mean? It was like very professional to a schedule. There was a runner, like it was very professional. And then once we finished recording, we come home and
despite the level of professionality, it never lost that element of fun.
No,
like there was never a point where we felt like, okay, it's grind time, we got to get this shit done. It was like, well, it'll get done eventually. It'll get done. We have 2 days and no time limit.
It was a very comfortable process.
Well, no time limit within the 2 days.
But we get home after that, and it was just like our lives go back to normal pretty much. But at the same time, it was starting 2022, and once 2022 got started, that's when we just started booking every show possible. We just started doing everything. Because I was like, well, we just worked with Three Doors Down. They're a platinum recording. Like we got to do something.
They're a Grammy-winning band.
Yeah, we got to do something. So we started booking shows and going on these little mini runs and little tours down to like San Francisco and back up, or down to LA and back up. And now we're just planning more of those. But that really solidified that this is what we want to do, because I have not had more fun than we had those 4 days we were on tour in February.
Absolutely not.
That was insane. And then in March, we go down to San Francisco for a show and come back up. And now we're starting to make waves in little college towns like Chico and Davis and, all those little party towns. They just want music. They just want new music. And those are the type of places we walk into a house, with a shitty PA system and put on a show like it's fucking Wembley Stadium, and then walk out and it's like, we just did that. Well, no, you said it all. I had something to add, and then I didn't.
It happens sometimes. And so you reach out to the venues, you reach out to other bands, hey, will you pick me up on the show? Can I open for you? That sort of thing. Is that how you're booking yourself?
Pretty much, just like little show trades. Like, hey, there's a band out in Utah that we're starting to really love working with, and that their name is Sunfish. And they came out for a Reno show, not even knowing who we are. We were like, well, we had them spend the night with us here in Reno. We housed them for the night. They were such amazing people. And, I picked the lead singer's brain about lead singer shit. You picked Mikkel's brain, the guitar shit. And it was just like Bentley. My bad. Mikkel was the drummer. So we start making these relationships with these bands that we're like, oh my God, there's other people out there doing the same thing we are, trying to make it and trying to just get as many people to hear your music as possible, and meeting those bands and working with those bands has never been more fun. There's always that ego that comes with people that are like, I don't want to work with a band with 400 followers. I don't want to work with a band with 100 followers. We had 0, man. We were at 0 at one point. So like working with all these young bands is just amazing. And all these like, and by young, I mean new, bands that just played their first show. There are
new bands popping up in Reno like every month.
Daily. Yeah, daily at this point. Yeah, new projects and whatever. And it's just so fun to work with those people.
Like the music scene out here is growing exponentially.
I would say so. Yeah.
And it's really fun to watch.
It is.
All these
and be part of it too. you know, and
all
be part
these-
of.
All these like 16, 17-year-olds who were exactly where we were 3 years ago.
And I'm telling you, if there's a band there's been many bands that I've seen that have been in our place 3 years ago that I've said, throw them on the bill. Throw them on the bill,
Right.
have them on the show, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Because at this point, when we're setting up headlining shows, we control who opens, we control, you know, what the ticket price is, whatever. So at this point, I'm like, get the newest people out there to see our people, you know, get as much diversity on the lineup as you can. And that is a goal of mine every single time. I mean, there's a band here called Flamingos in the Tree that just play indie pop music, but we love throwing them on the bill because they just come out and do stuff that sounds like, you know, flowers and, you know, sunsets
Fucking
and whatever.
meadows and shit.
And then we come out, we do kind of a mix of that with a mix of some harder stuff that we have, you know, an opening metalcore band do. You know what I mean? So it's like there's always room to throw as much music in as possible. Never really a specific genre. You know, we don't do that.
We don't like the whole the genre box.
No.
Right. That's good. You don't have to do that, right? So, and so going back a bit, when did you guys both pick up the guitar? When did you start playing?
I'll let you take that while I plug in my phone.
I started when I was about, I want to say 11 or 12, so 6th grade. And I remember I watched that video of Led Zeppelin doing Stairway to Heaven live, that like 12-minute version where Jimmy Page has that double neck SG.
Song remains the same.
I watched that video and I was like, that. And because I had this, like, I think it was a first act little mini electric, the ones with the speakers in them. And and it had 3 strings on it at the time, and I started learning like that.
Yeah. Did you teach yourself, or did you
Christmas? I got my first real 6-string.
Yeah. Did you teach yourself, or did you take? I mean, you said I knew you were in choir. You said, but did you take any classes?
I did not. I'm completely self-taught when it comes to guitar.
Me too.
Nice.
And I honestly did try taking classes. I'm sorry I'm off camera, but I did try taking classes for a bit. And at one point, the guitar teacher looked at me and he just said, "Hey, just so you know, we're just jamming at this point. You already know what you need to know. Go learn more. Like, you're fully capable of doing it." I was like, "Oh, okay, dude. I didn't know I was, you know, doing anything right." And the best part is when I came into learning guitar and learning whatever, it was always like, I just didn't know what chords I was playing. I knew I was playing chords. I just didn't know the names of them. And that's what he taught me. And then after that, I didn't take lessons anymore. I literally didn't need to.
You're good. What were your first concerts?
Mine was
In the womb or out of the womb?
I'm guessing out.
Well, in the womb.
The first concert you were conscious for.
Okay, I was about to say, in the womb, Dave Matthews. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. You can claim it.
This guy. Mine was Aerosmith in South Tahoe back in 2015 when they did their 40th anniversary tour. And I think Aerosmith was the best first concert for me.
Anyone could ever.
Yeah, I've seen them a couple times, and I mean, the first time was much better, I'll say. The second time was they played with Kiss, and it was during their blues album, "Honking on Bobo," which was not very good, I'll just say. So, but the first one was great. Steven Tyler swung over my head and everything. You know, I mean, I was 4th row. Like, I mean, that was pretty cool. But, you know. So what was your first concert out of the womb, Zander? I'm not sure if I caught that.
Yeah. Out of the womb? Oh, man. I'd like to say it would have been one of 3. So it's either Foreigner, when I saw him at, because I lived in Florida for a long time. I was born there. So I had a Universal pass, and they would do concerts at Universal. It would always be a free concert for everybody that was there. And it's Foreigner. And I was like, I love fucking Jukebox Hero. My mom would play that for me on road trips and whatnot. So I love being at a Foreigner concert. There's Foreigner, Charlie Daniels. Do you know who Charlie Daniels is?
Of course I know who Charlie Daniels is.
That went down tour. That was the reason. I was super into that song when I was a kid. And my mom just surprised me with Charlie Daniels tickets. She was like, "Do you want to go see Charlie Daniels shred the fiddle?" And I was like, "Yes." So it was one of those 2, I would like to say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you win. So I'll share mine, and I don't share it often, but But it comes with a caveat also. I did not have good music taste growing up. I did not have, great friends that influence, that.
Well, what do you define as a great music taste?
Facts.
So, Zander knows that Foo Fighters, are the top right now. I mean, they're not, I'm not going to say they're my favorite band, but Dave Grohl is the most amazing, they're the last great rock and roll band, in my estimation. So yeah, I have a lot of different tastes in music, and I talk to bands every week, throughout the world, so I get to listen to a lot of different shit. But let me say, my musical taste was a lot different when I was 12 to 13 or so. First concert was Smash Mouth.
Damn, really?
I've seen Smash Mouth.
So I'm interviewing the new singer of Smash Mouth tomorrow, actually.
No way! I didn't know they got a new singer. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard what happened to Steve Harwell, but he had some tough shit that went down, and
I'll tell you after.
I can learn afterwards.
It's a rabbit hole, but I actually met Steve back in 2018, and he was very nice. He was a nice dude. I was just like, hey, Steve. He was like, hey, that was kind of it.
Yeah. So I was a fan of Smash Mouth back in the day, and I met him a couple times too, and all that. But yeah, so that was my first. But
that's a pretty good first concert.
Yeah, for real.
I expected Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And I was like, all right, that's cool. That's a cool first concert.
Yeah, no. And Foreigner we've had on the program a bunch. I know their manager and stuff, so they're really cool. Seeing them live a handful of times. So
that's super cool.
Yeah. So they're good. And so tell me about the opening for Puddle of Mudd. How did that come about? And tell me about the show.
Well, it came about mainly because there's a big promoter in town that books a lot of different shows here. They book a lot of the big touring acts, but they don't really look to any of the locals. So trying to lock in those big shows, they kind of already have somebody, always. So what we decided to do is, as soon as I saw it wasn't even announced by these promoters yet. I just saw that Puddle of Mudd was announcing that they were coming through again. And I had seen Puddle of Mudd come through here when they played in 2018. And I was like, okay, we'd be stupid not to reach out to these people and try to get on a show, because I was personally very inspired by that first album, Come Clean. I mean, that album itself made me start writing Stay Away, Melted Clocks, all that kind of stuff. So that pretty much birthed the sound of the band. So I was like, we have to play with Puddle of Mudd. So I had my dad reach out to their manager, and their manager was all over us. She loved us. So she was like, we're absolutely going to throw you on the show. We're going to have another local, and then it's going to be Puddle of Mudd. I was like, rad. So the biggest three venues here are Grand Sierra Resort, Cargo Concert Hall, and the Reno Event Center, which is very
and
big.
there's a new one opening up down in Victorian. That outdoor arena.
Oh yeah, well there you go. There's another one, I guess. But the biggest one that we could see ourselves playing in, at least in the spot that we were at musically, is Cargo. And I've seen a handful of concerts there. You had never been there before, which I think is crazy. I've seen a handful of concerts there, and I've always aspired to play there. And that's where Puddle of Mudd was going. So I was like, wow, we get to play with Puddle of Mudd at the dream venue in Reno that I've always wanted to play. So once we get to that venue, it was the first very official venue that's not not someone's living room, that's very official. There's a schedule, there's sound checks, there's load-in times, there's all that kind of stuff. And there usually is at other venues, but this one, it seemed like it was on a very tight schedule. So we show up, we load our gear in, we go down to our green room, which we've had a green room before, but we've never had a green room. You know what I mean? Like, we walked in and there was, there's beer for everybody and whatever. We're not even 21 yet, so it was like, whatever. But at the same time, there's a couch with Netflix. It was like, what is going on? Like, this is luxury compared to sitting in the car before the show, just getting ready, playing Foo Fighters. So, we go out there, we watched Puddle of Mudd sound check, but we didn't meet them yet. So we watched their sound check and we were just like, wow, that's Puddle of Mudd. Oh my God. So we go into our green room, we relax for a little bit, then we go out and we sound check and tell them what happened. Oh, so this is why you always bring a spare.
Yeah.
Bring a spare guitar. A spare guitar.
So the one guitar that I had with me, it's here right now.
What's funny is, before you even get to that, I brought two. My spare failed. So there you go.
Oh no! I've had this. By the way, I've had this sort of thing happen. Like in interview status, like we were interviewing Taking Back Sunday at Slim's in San Francisco. This is 2003, sort of thing. yeah, I'm old. But this is so we had the camera. I was using the TV station's camera. The battery was dead and shot. I'm like, okay, well, I brought my own camera as a backup. It was 2 blocks away. Whatever. I had to run off of Taking Back Sunday's tour bus. They were playing with the Used, by the way, and this tiny place that holds 450 people. I mean, this is before they blew up, right? And so I run, a couple blocks around the corner, get my camera, and get back on the tour bus, and that camera died, and
God.
And so I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
You always got to have a backup for your backup for your
backup for your backup.
But yeah,
I know.
it was this Telecaster.
Beautiful guitar.
I've been playing it since the band's inception.
Very much so. Yeah.
It
literally since our
decided
first show.
to stop working while we were sound checking.
He wasn't getting any sound out of it. And when we played Whiskey a Go-Go, the same thing had happened to me, except it was my amp. I don't know if you knew it was my amp. Yeah, it wasn't my guitar, it was my amp. So I'm panicking. It was our first out of town show we've ever done. I'm running around talking to everybody like, my shit's broken, I don't know what to do. Like I'm fully sweating, fully panting, fully panicking. So Brogan's guitar starts to fail. All my stuff is smooth sailing, and all of Jacob's stuff is smooth sailing. All of Mike's stuff is smooth sailing. And then we all kind of surround around you, like, what can we do to help? And it was just literally within 20 minutes, we had a solution. And it was to use the other opener's guitar. That was the only thing we could think of. We gutted the entire opening of his guitar. Got pliers, toolkit, whatever.
I ended up taking this out.
Yeah,
taking it out completely.
And then
I had to take off the control plate.
All within a span of 20 minutes. All this was done. And then they basically said, okay, you have 5 minutes. You're about to go on stage. We're letting people in right now. There are people slowly packing in. You have to go.
Either fix your guitar or find a different one.
And, the other opener, Black Sunshine, let us use their Strat. And then we basically hands you Strat, tunes it, and we're on stage. Like, it was that quick. So we play our show, and I'm going to be honest, it went by in a snap.
It did.
For me. Most of our shows tend to, it's like you kind of get off stage and you're trying to remember certain little things that had just happened. It's the adrenaline and stuff like that. But this show in particular, we even had to cut a song because we were just jamming for so long. We were having such a good time that we just decided to jam instead of doing another song. But in the end, it was the tightest and best mixed performance that we've ever done. And I think there's something special about that, and it's about having a good sound and a good crowd to work with. And even though I kind of shit the bed crowd surfing, probably shouldn't have done that, we still did a lot of stuff that we normally do at Split Persona shows that these new people were like very into.
Like before our song Keep It, we have this thing where Zander will play the da-na-na
just to start it.
To start it, he'll split the room in two. He'll be like, I need to hear from this side. Now I need to hear from this side.
No, I try to get everybody involved.
And I'll pick a side and like help get them up.
Yeah, it's always me versus you on sides. So we'll do stuff like that. And there were some older people at that concert that really had a good time. Like, there was in the middle of this splitting the room, there was one guy I think yelled,
that guy
the other side.
Yeah.
Side of the room.
I saw that.
Like, whoa, like people really like this. So, after the show, we have people coming up to us, taking pictures with us, asking to sign set lists and sign their face at one point. And, it's pretty eye-boggling, to be like, we're still the dudes that just play music in a room and we just kind of try to make cool shit, make cool sounds and whatnot. And, the fact that we did that is probably the biggest achievement we've ever had in Reno, is playing that venue and playing for that many people. And then Puddle of Mudd plays, and Wes had said something to my dad about wanting to talk to us after the show or talk to me or something like that. So I was like, what? So after the show, we're waiting by their dressing room, waiting for them to leave. And eventually I get impatient. I'm like, I'm just going to knock. And I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of telling the story, but I was kicked out of Shinedown's backstage dressing room. Mainly, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I had a pass to be back there, and they were really, really nice, and we were all hanging out and whatever. But their GSR security, which was the Grand Sierra, kicked me out. So I was kind of anxiety-ridden to knock on the door again. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. So I knocked, and the drummer answered, and he was like, "What's up, dude? You got Split Persona?" He was super cool. We were like, yeah, we would like to talk to Wes, if that's okay. Is Wes around so we can, say hi to him or whatever? He was like, hold on. comes out within 5 minutes and just gives us all our own, little moment to talk to us and everything. He talked to you for a little bit. He talked to me. And the best part about it, and I will remember it forever, you can see the quote in our video that pops up.
And it's just something we say to each other now.
It's something you need to be said for you to hear it that way. In the video, I tried to type it out as best as I could, but he was like, "What's your guys' band name again?" We were like, "We're Split Persona." He just goes, "Split Persona, bitch." It was like, yes, like we got the rap, we got the signature Wes Scantlin rasp that we are Split Persona. It was awesome, bitch. And I told him that my mom had played She Hates Me for me on little road trips, and I was singing that song when I was 3 or 4 years old, and he was like mesmerized by that, and I was mesmerized that I was telling him, you know what I mean? So doing that show was incredibly amazing for all of us, not for just both of us.
Yeah, just both of us.
Just me and you.
Right. I'll match you with a backstage, kind of sneaking backstage story here, and it involves Foo Fighters, so it kind of it ties in, right? So I had a press pass to the show. This is again back, God, it must have been 05 or something like that, but it wasn't supposed to get you backstage, and so I walk backstage like I own the place,
that's what you have to do.
Yeah, exactly. And what's funny is I was wearing a shirt, and I still have the shirt that it says "How to sneak past security at a concert." Bring your electric guitar, crowd surf, whatever,
cool.
like that sort of thing. And I was wearing that when I snuck past security.
That's crazy.
So I was able to sit on the riser on for Foo Fighters set, like on the stage, sort of thing, right on the side of the stage. Yeah. And then afterwards, everybody's leaving and everything. I walk on the stage. I take Taylor Hawkins' set list, and then I wait, and I just wait. They were in their dressing room. The place is pretty much cleared out, but I'm waiting and whatever. Security may have looked at me a couple times, but I'm just whatever. I'm not saying anything. I'm keeping to myself. And Taylor comes out, and I catch his eye, and this is kind of a regret now because of obviously, but I didn't say anything to him. And it's like at that point, it's like, I'm here for Dave, sort of thing,
Oh,
I know.
Hey, that's how everybody feels, like my dad was like, did you want to meet Taylor? I was like, yeah, I want to meet everybody. At this point, I was such a
I want to talk Chris Shiflett's ear off about effects.
Yeah, man. There's every member of the Foo Fighters at this point is incredibly meaningful and just their own personality. I mean, Pat was in the band like 3 or 4 times in and out. But yes, continue your story. I want to hear more.
Yes. But Dave, so a couple months later, Dave comes out, and I get him to sign the set list, and this was before smartphones and everything, so this didn't have that. I had a crappy, it might have even been a disposable or at least a crappy camera. The picture didn't come out. I know. It was super blurry. Like you're like, I could say that's Dave Grohl, but you wouldn't know for sure, sort of thing. And so
that's
luckily,
Dave Grohl. Yeah, prove it. I think you showed. If I hate to interrupt, but I feel like you showed me a picture of you and Dave Grohl because he was getting like a corn dog at a fair or something like that.
It's close, but like he came back to Napa to show his Sound City musical documentary.
Right.
And so he was showing, like, we were all in for that and everything, and I was sitting down, and there were some previews beforehand, and I brought a bunch of CDs, not even just Foo Fighters, like other stuff he drummed on, like Tenacious D and Juliet Lewis's band, who
true fucking fan,
and stuff like that, right? I brought a handful of CDs just in case I happened to get to meet him. They were in my jacket pocket. I left it at the seat, and I went to the bathroom during the previous, and he's just standing out there talking to the venue staff and whatever. Go back to my seat, get my jacket, go back out, wait for him to stop talking to the venue staff, and then he takes my phone and takes a picture with us and signs my CDs and everything. Right. And so the doc, I'm like, what would Dave Grohl do, right? Because I don't stop there, right? I send the picture to my mom and have her go to CVS and get a fucking 8x10 of that printed, and then meet me at the front of the venue. And then afterwards, when there's a Q&A, I'm first one to ask a question, right? And I ask my question, something about Nirvana, and then I get him to sign the picture. He's like, "Wasn't this like an hour ago?"
Oh yeah,
yeah. And so it was freaking awesome. Yeah, it was pretty great.
That is something Dave Grohl would do. Just show up with a picture you took an hour ago, printed and ready and framed. Yeah, like that is awesome.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens.
Because if I ever go backstage to Shinedown again, I'm gonna do that shit. The
This
reason,
is how you do it.
because I had just hung out with Shinedown, and they were really, really cool backstage. And I was hanging out with Brent, and I was on a call with him like a year before this had happened. So me and him were kind of catching up on that kind of stuff. Me and Zach Myers were talking about the things not to do and the things to do on tour, because we were leaving to go on tour like the week after. Yeah. And Aaron Jones, this new like very amazing hard rock artist, is making waves, and he opened. So I was like, I need more rough mix. I'm gonna run back there in his dressing room and show him this song. So I knocked on the door, and Aaron Jones, his like girlfriend or whatever, answered, and she was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "I was wondering if I could show this song to Aaron. You know, it's my band and I. You know, I was very like flustered or whatever." And all I hear is just send him in. And I was like, "Oh shit!" You know, this is like the dark room. He's in like leather jacket. I walk in. Behind me in the hallway, you know, in the venue, and like the back hallways of the venue, this lady just sneaks behind me and just goes, "Do you guys know him?" And he just goes, "No, I don't know him, but he's going to show me a song, and that's cool," or something like that. And she goes, "Well, he can't be back here. You got to come with me." And then just pulled me out. And I was like, "Oh, no, you wanted to hear it."
So close.
So I tweeted at him, hoping that he would respond to it, but no.
No dice. Well, you got in the room with them.
We're gonna, you know, it seems like everybody I meet comes back around again eventually. I mean, here's an example, but like, it's gonna happen eventually. Yeah. I'm gonna see Aaron Jones at like one of the festivals we're playing at. I'm just gonna be like, "Hey, fuck your security. Here's that song." I know it's been out for 5 years, but here it is.
Yeah, you'll make it happen. So your parents are really supportive also. I mean, it sounds like your dad's reaching out to folks for you, making that happen. Like they've been supportive throughout the whole thing with the band.
Oh, my parents have been generously supportive throughout this whole thing. I mean, they, at this point, we've all realized that the music industry is throwing a bunch of money into a dumpster fire and just kind of watching it go, and then just being like, "Yay!" You know, like you put out a song, you spend like $3,000 to get it done and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, you'll hear it in the music. You know, that's where it really matters. It's like mixing, mastering, all that kind of stuff. It really matters at that point, because you have a piece of shit recording that some amazingly Stephen Hawking level engineer can make sound like literal, I was about to say Night at the Opera for some reason. That was the album that came to mind, masterpiece. But I feel like that's where your real money goes, because you could pay some dude on the internet to just be like, "Hey, can you send this to a bunch of Spotify playlists, because we need numbers for some reason, you know, like that matters." And they'll just take $1,000 from you and just be like, "Watch it go," you know. And like 10 months later, you'll just be staring at the same song and be like, "Damn, it did some shit." You know, it did like 2 things. So I mean, my parents have definitely come to the point where we've realized like we can't give you anymore. At this point, you guys got to figure it out on your own. And we've been doing that. You know, we put up a GoFundMe, and as of today, we now have an official band van. You know, we actually got a van today. So I think that's crazy. So, you know, it's certain things like that we've realized, oh, you know, our money really comes from the shows that we play. And that's where we have the most fun. So we should put a lot of it into touring and, you know, playing shows, trying to make money rather than spending it so much on tour. Because in the past, we use our drummer's car that gets 13 miles per gallon on a good day. And, you know, with a trailer attached, it's probably 11 or 10. So we spend a lot of money on touring and playing shows. But now that we have a mode of transport, that we don't need a trailer anymore, we can just put all our stuff in the van and go. Now we'll start making more money and being able to put it back into the music, because that's where it comes from. You know, you got to work for it. And everybody's like, "You got to work for it, blah, blah, blah. I have a day job. I work 12 hours a day." It's like, whatever, dude. We want to make our money playing the shows and getting our name out there, kind of knocking 2 birds with 1 stone at the same time, and then put that into making a really good record, and then putting that record out and just rinse and repeat. You know, that's kind of where it comes from. And, you know, we don't have a label. We don't have anybody that's fronting us money or being able to do any of that. And if I'm being honest, in the past, it's been our parents that have done that. You know, here's money to go on tour. Here's money to get this song mixed and mastered, you know, or whatever.
Here's money to help out.
But it always comes to a halt at one point of saying, you know, it's becoming too much. You know, none of us came from rich backgrounds in our families. It's all of us work day jobs. I mean, I work at World Market.
I work at a warehouse.
Yeah, you work at a warehouse. Mike, our drummer, works at a piercing place and sells jewelry. You know, it's all of us have our own little lives that we have to, you know, all put back into this one big thing. But at this point, it's starting to look like that we're just going to be able to play shows, make money playing shows, which is something we already really love. And we've already been doing so many shows without making money. You know, at this point, it hasn't even been a priority for us. But at this point, we're realizing, hey, if we make money, we can do more. You know? And, you know, setting up that GoFundMe and getting us set up to get a van has you know, that's so much stuff we would have had to save up for that we now don't. You know, now that we have a van, we could just pack it up and go at this point, you know, and just do what we love.
Need seats first, but
yeah, we need back seats.
It doesn't have the seats yet. The van didn't come with the seats, huh?
No, it didn't. And you know, sometimes the air conditioner, you got to hit it a little bit to get it to start kicking on. But you know, there's no fun in a perfect van. There's no fun in that.
It'll get where it needs to go.
The guy today was just like, hey, you know, the window kind of goes down, kind of doesn't go down. And I'm just laughing my ass off. I'm like, yes, this is the stuff we're going to be able to talk about on tour. This is going to be the stuff that keeps us from going insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So honestly, at this point, it's playing the shows, putting the money that we make from the shows back into the music, and then putting out new music. And, you know, not relying on anybody else to help us, just doing it ourselves and really
until someone comes forward and is offering us money.
Until, you know, Capital calls and they're just like, hey, you know, we'll front you this much money to make a record. I mean,
but until then, we're doing it ourselves.
Yeah, and we're happy doing that.
Yeah,
you know, we're finding a balance where at this point we're not thinking, damn, we're broke as fuck. You know, we're broke, and we're not gonna be able to do this anymore because we're broke. At this point, we're thinking, damn, you know, we may be broke, but we're making more money. You know, we're organizing ourselves to make money in the future so we can keep doing this. And nobody in this band is ever going to let money hold us back. I know that for a fact. You know, it has in the past, but then we realized, wow, you know, we could just book another local show, or we could book a show that's not 8.5 hour drive away. You know what I mean? So we don't have to stay overnight for. Right. You know, and we're finding, you know, little balancing ways to organize ourselves and really become a professional act and be taking as such. Because for so long, you know, I'm 19. I'm pretty young. You're 19. And the oldest in our band is 21. So, I mean, we're young. We're still kids to a lot of people. This whole thing got started when he was like, I tracked the vocals. Even have a driver's license. I tracked vocals for that EP when I was 16 and recorded the drums and whatever when I was 16. So like,
you probably sound a little different now. So, you know.
Oh yeah. And that's why, you know, there's been talk of recording the EP songs, but you know, that we don't know, you know, at this point it's being able to do whatever we want, not having a, you know, I'd rather be able to be independent and struggle a little bit and being able to do whatever we want with the music or with touring and playing shows than be fronted a lot of money and being locked into something and having someone say, no, you're going to be there tomorrow. And like, whether you want to or not, you know, I've seen, you know, just not having firsthand experience with it, seeing so many artists go down the tube with being owned by big contracts that they're locked into and that they can't get out of, you know. I think when we were driving back from Chico, me and Jacob had a 3.5 hour conversation about fucking Avicii and how that was the reason, you know, he had his downfall was because he was literally owned by his management and owned by his record label. So, you know, there's good and bad in all of it, but it's always finding the good and bringing it up to 11. That's kind of our thing. And I mean, all the bad just makes the good better. That's true.
Yeah.
Because I never thought we were going to get a van. And when I pulled up in the purple mobile today, it's purple, by the way, which is fucking awesome.
I got to see a picture of this.
Nobody expected it. So it's I expected it. You expected it because I called you.
You saw it coming, but yeah. So when you're on, you're literally a block away, a mile away. Yeah. So when you're on the road doing shows, I mean, like the dynamic between everybody's cool, chill, everybody's, you know, nobody gets on each other's nerves or anything too much, right?
It's the hunger. It's hunger makes us into different people. Yeah, and the best part is that the worst arguments we've had on tour and going out of town and playing shows is either when we just wake up because we choose, instead of, you know, like I said, we're not that built money wise. We'd rather spend a night that's $30 to rent a camp spot and camp out and barbecue and whatever than go into a fancy hotel for another 70. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier. So, you know, it'd be waking up in the morning and me waking up with hair that's like over here, that should be over here. And I'm just like, I need a shower. We have to go to a rest stop and shower or whatever. Or, you know, I want a burrito, you know, we haven't eaten in 3 hours. Or like I collapsed the 10 on Zander. That didn't happen. This is all just hypothetical, right? Yeah. When we were in Nashville, we were looking at each other. I was like, how should we wake up Mike? And I was like, I know exactly how. You know, my parents used to do this to me when I was little. So I just undid his blow up bed. So it just started deflating. And he's like, oh, like going down into it. He wakes up and his first words were, that's fucked up. Yeah, he was like, that's messed up, dude. I can't do it. And when we're on tour, I don't know what city it was. I feel like we were in Petaluma. No, I feel like we were in Paso Robles when you did this to my time, when we were on the one plot of land. Yeah, we stayed at this one spot where there's just one plot of grass. And it was like, you got that to camp on. And it's like, cool. So in the morning, everybody gets up before me and I hear everybody getting up and I'm like, asleep, for another 10 minutes. And I just hear, and my tent just collapses in. I'm like, ah!
I'm like, yo, I figured out how to collapse the tent.
And I'm like, wait. And then it just goes. And I'm like, I can't find the door. And it looks like a ghost, like trying to find out where he's going. Like, it was bad, dude. It was like a blind ghost.
I thought it was so funny.
Oh, it was. I was laughing hysterically. But when I got out, I was like, I want an egg McMuffin. Like, I was pissed. Hungry. So anytime we've gotten a little irritable, it's either been like in the panic of setting up a show or like breaking down a show. And then you say, no, you got to get out of here in 15 minutes. Like, you're not 21, you can't stay here, or something like that. And we'll have to just, everybody stick together and just kind of like load everything to the trailer and just kind of throw it all in there. Like, there's definitely stress when it comes to stuff like that. But I mean, we've never stayed mad at each other. Like, we solve
making light of it is a lot of the times how we get through it.
And also we just buy each other food. And that always helps, you're in a family when food fixes the worst arguments that you've ever had. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's great. And you're playing Chico this weekend.
We are playing Chico this weekend.
Once again.
I'm so excited. New house this time.
Yeah.
New place.
It's a house show?
It is a house show. The last one we did was a house show. And you should be seeing in the next week or so a vlog of that last house show, because we've decided to start taking our friend Ashton with us everywhere we go. He's our videographer now, and he loves filming and taking pictures.
And he gets things that we don't even remember doing or saying.
Right. Yeah. And, I'll be editing the footage and be like, wow, I can't believe we did that. Like, one of the things was that cargo show. We were throwing the big pillows at each other.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that until we put it out. So we had him follow us to Chico, and it was our first out of towner we ever brought him along with. And it was like a living room. We didn't expect it to be the best, but we got there and it was the coolest house we'd ever played in. We've done a couple house shows before, but that was the most fun. And we, those 30 people that saw us told their friends. And like, I think the next day or so, I got a call from a random dude. He's like, hey, I'm booking a show in Chico next weekend. Do you want to come and play? Like, we'd love to have you back. We'd love to keep having Split Persona play here. And we were like, yes, and I remember
texted the group chat and he was like, boys, you want to go back to Chico on the 28th? And I was like, give me a second.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. So, it's like I said earlier, it's the college towns we keep trying to make our waves in, because those are us, man. Those are the 19 and 20 and 21 year olds that we're trying to like be friends with and try to like introduce ourselves to. Because I mean, my manager at work, Lori, she was super cool with suicidal tendencies back in the day. She goes, but I was the age of suicidal tendencies when I was hanging out with them. So I'm their age now and whatever. She goes, all these friends that you're making at these college shows or whatever are going to remember you when you're 45 and they're 45, seeing you at stadiums or whatever. So, I mean, that's kind of where it comes from. And it's such a fun environment to play. It's nobody really cares. We could show up and play just one cover set, but no one would care. Everybody's there to have fun and get fucked up necessarily, and but we also show up and do the Split Persona thing, getting everybody involved and whatever. We're not just showing up playing covers and just kind of being a bar show, or a keg party show. It's more of like a Split Persona show put in the living room. And
you can crowd surf with 30 people, right? So
I was gonna try, and it was after that cargo show that I was like, I don't know. There's always a right time. And next time we do this show in Chico, this one that we're doing this weekend, I'm absolutely gonna force it if it happens. If I need to force it,
don't force it.
I won't force it, but if it happens, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It is. I did get dropped. They flipped me, dude. They went.
They weren't having it. They were like, no, this is not happening.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for taking the time. It was
of course.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, this was amazing, man. You asked great questions. You're
Seriously.
Thank you. I've done a couple of these. So.
What episode is that?
365 maybe, but so yeah. One year. If I can get it out
1 year
this week.
of episodes, and we get the 1 year mark.
It's not 1 year. I mean, I've been interviewing bands since I was your age, before your age, sort of thing. And but just saying, I'm over double your age. So
well, when you said something about being like at a show in 2003, I was like, I was born in 2003. Like that's
like, dude, I couldn't even walk it.
It was the one where you were in the womb, right? So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
If you saw Dave Matthews on that tour, I was there.
No joke. I think I saw Dave Matthews in 2003 at Golden Gate Park. Maybe 2001. I don't know. Goddamn. I think
Had
like
been around that time.
yeah,
I don't know. My memory is a little foggy. I was kind of in a vagina. Like, I was like, but
yes.
my mom, she tells me about it all the time. She was like, that was the first time you ever moved in my stomach was at Dave Matthews, because like I don't know if it was Dave and Tim Reynolds just doing their thing, or I keep trying to remember the drummer's name. He's a legendary drummer. If you can remind me, if you remember.
I don't remember his name. I know Dave and Tim, and that's yeah.
Oh, he's insane. So basically, I don't know what it was, but I just started kicking, during the like tripping billies or something. My mom was like, wow, he likes music. That'll be something. And then, now we're here, which I think is crazy.
The show, I think my daughter was in the womb for a show. It was fun. Before they were big, like one of their first tour is 150 capacity venue, like small ass place in Sacramento, the Boardwalk.
Get about fun way too much. They were a good band.
I was into the format before Fun was around, and interviewed Nate on his tour bus at the format show with Motion City Soundtrack and All American Rejects headlined and that sort of thing. So it was a pretty cool show. But yeah, I mean, that was the one my daughter was in the room for, so she can. I don't think she remembers, but but it happened. It happened.
Be surprised.
Yes. Yeah. If you're ever in the area, I mean, I just moved to Vacaville, and so right outside Davis. And so if you guys have a show in the area or something, let me know. And
I'll let you know, because we have a show in Davis first week of June. So I'll just let you know that date and all the details.
You do? Okay.
We do.
Well, first week of June. That's like 2 weeks away, huh?
Yeah. It's so shit. I gotta get the time off. There you go.
Where do you have the details now? Like, what's the jam?
I don't have the exact address. I know it's the Turtle House in Davis. It's a college house where you play on the deck. That's what I know, is that you play on the deck. Everybody stands on the grass and watches you play. And we've been trying to get our foot in the door with them for a couple months now, because they just did an Earth Day festival there, and it was like 6 or 7 bands, I think, but it was, I believe, 300 people on that one lawn just watching all these bands. It was basically Woodstock in Davis, which I think is so cool. Davis stock. That's what they should call it. It's a missed opportunity right there.
That's because they didn't put me on their marketing team.
That's true. But yeah, I will actually shoot you all the actual like accurate details over when you text me.
Yeah. If I can make it, I will. I have kids, and so I split custody and shit. So.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I'll send you details of other shows in that area too, because we're definitely trying to hit Sacramento, Davis, that whole Bay Area spot, because we're right up in Reno. We're pretty close,
Yeah, not too far away. So we'll make it happen. Sure. But great times. Thanks for hitting me up, Zander. I mean, yeah, always good to.
Of course, dude. I cannot believe we can make this happen. This is awesome, dude. Dream country.
Dig the EP, and I mean, dig what you guys are doing. Your energy is really, I mean, it's really awesome. So keep it up, and I will say keep it up. And it might not mean as much as those bands that are telling you keep it up, but I'll say keep it up as well, because that live show and that energy that you have. You will go places. You keep that up. You continue to grow your audience. You guys are doing it. So
thank you, dude.
Thank you so
I really
much.
Appreciate that.
All right. Well, you guys have a good night then, and I will be chatting with you soon. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you for having us. It was a great time.
All right, later, guys. That was the interview with Split Persona here on Concert Pipeline, and that takes us to the final segment on the program, the music news. Got a couple of stories here to wind out the program. On the last episode of Concert Pipeline, there was a real heavy undertone with death kind of running throughout all of the stories. Well, today the topic's a little bit lighter. We're coming up for air here. The topic, we have a couple of stories that tie into COVID, and now COVID's still around and folks are getting hit by it. So let's talk about a couple of folks and bands that are getting hit by COVID. First off, Pearl Jam. We were hoping it wouldn't happen. We knew it did happen to Pearl Jam's drummer, and we had a local Bay Area teenager who was able to fill in on drums for one song of Pearl Jam's set. Near the end of the set, drummer of the band The Alive, who we're going to have on the program actually pretty soon. He filled in for Pearl Jam at their, I think it was a San Francisco show. or oh no, it was Oakland actually. But Pearl Jam didn't make it any farther than that because Jeff Ament from Pearl Jam was also diagnosed with COVID. So apparently two is the number of band members that it takes to take Pearl Jam down and to make them cancel shows on their tour. Our attention to staying inside the bubble has been constant. We've truly done all that we could have to remain clear of infection, the band said after Sacramento and Las Vegas gigs were nixed. And those are the final two shows and then their North American tour. At least it was near the end. But I think I had a buddy going to the Sacramento show, so I'm sure he was not too excited about that. And so Pearl Jam did manage to persevere through drummer Matt Cameron's COVID-related absence by enlisting an audience member and I think an old bassist from Red Hot Chili Peppers or something along those lines. But they send their heartfelt sadness about having to cancel the dates. So it's horrible for everybody involved. We're especially sorry out there to those who made plans to attend these shows or attend. Let's see here. Matt Cameron tested positive for COVID in Fresno, where Ed and the band got through it with the help of Dave Christian and special guest drummer. They now have to present this heartbreaking news. So that is Pearl Jam. They are down for the count, at least for the rest of that tour. All right. The next artist that was stricken with COVID is Eric Clapton. And this one is hard to say without a little hint of a smile. I don't wish it on anybody, but this guy has talked a lot of shit about COVID, and he has to postpone his tour kickoff after catching COVID. Let's see. It's a European tour that he had planned, and he's unfortunately suffering from COVID, having tested positive shortly after the second concert at the Royal Albert Hall on May 8th. That was a while ago. That's weird. So how long is he out for? This is a new story. Okay, so maybe he's not having a good go with COVID. That's kind of concerning. He's been told by his medical advisors that if he were to resume traveling and perform too soon, it could substantially delay his full recovery. He's also anxious to avoid passing on any infection to any of his band crew, promoters, their staff, and of course the fans. So he initially postponed May 17th in Zurich, Switzerland, and May 18th in Milan, Italy, and May 19th. He's determined he's unable to perform his other dates in Italy. They'll be rescheduled by the end of this year. His team says the announcement of the new dates will be made within the next 2 weeks, and tickets purchased will remain valid for those dates. It doesn't say anything about Eric Clapton's stance on COVID and vaccines. Although I'll tell you, if he had gotten vaccinated, might have had a little easier go with COVID and so been able to keep some of those shows after the first couple that he canceled and wouldn't be out for the multiple weeks that he's been out. I mean, it sounds like for 3 weeks or so at this point, which is pretty long. Okay, a couple more stories here. Conor Burst from Bright Eyes. She reportedly walked off the stage during a Bright Eyes gig. Fans sang karaoke with the band until the show was officially canceled. Ooh. Okay, according to reports from fans at the show, Oberst left the stage after just 2 songs during the band's show at the lawn at White Oak Music Hall. Let's see, Bright Eyes played 2 songs. He walked off. Now the band is suggesting Bright Eyes karaoke with Bright Eyes for the crowd. Can't really charge the crowd for that, right? Can't charge them the price of Bright Eyes tickets. But the karaoke went on for a few songs before the venue canceled the show and refunded tickets. Oh, okay. So they got a couple of, Bright Eyes karaoke songs out of the deal. The group is scheduled to play New Orleans Orpheum Theater and a New York show. They have a couple of shows reach out, but they reach out to Bright Eyes for comment. But I don't think they got any reply. So hopefully he's okay. We don't know why he walked off stage at this point, from what I can tell. Okay, last story has to do with Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction. He has a band called Porno for Pyros. They reunited at Welcome to Rockville. It's a periodically active project, and they stepped in for Jane's Addiction at the last minute. It was their first show in 26 years. The band, who have been periodically active since the 90s, were filling in for Jane's Addiction, who pulled out of their set due to Dave Navarro's ongoing battle with, you got it right, COVID. Damn, all these bands going down with COVID. Discussing Navarro's long bout with COVID, Farrell revealed that the Porno for Pyros lineup is their first full show in over 25 years. They reunited in 2020 for a Lollapalooza live stream. Features himself, Stephen Perkins, Peter Stefano, and Mike Watt. Rockville, although we were blue, the Janes cannot be with you at this time due to Dave's long bout with COVID. I'm still coming to Daytona. We'll play some Jane songs for you as well, but for now, let's recall my boat's capsized. It's going to link to the bottom. I can see the lights on the shore. All right, so I don't know how fans feel about the Jane's Addiction being replaced with Perry Farrell's other band. If they are big Perry Farrell fans, they can look at that as a really unique opportunity. Otherwise, some fans might want their money back if they were expecting to see Jane's Addiction, but not sure what happened with that. So that's what's going on in the music news today. And that is our show. So thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank you to Split Persona for being on the program. I'll preview a couple things we have in the works right now. Smash Mouth planning to interview their new lead singer named Zach Good. And let's see, we have a bunch of Bottle Rock interviews, the Alive, Taipei, Houston, maybe a couple of others, I think, in the works. I'm trying to see what I got on the schedule. And Lily, I think I'm going to be interviewing as well. So there's a couple of artists and some more in the works. So that is our show for today. For all of us here at Concert Pipeline, I'm Steve Jones. We'll catch you next time.